Mangwanani, makasimba iri, takasimba. Taura shishona mbichana. That's how we greet in Shona, ladies and gentlemen. Now, speaking about Shona, there is a controversial character from Zimbabwe by the name of RUTENDO Harare, who has went in social media and has sparked conversation in social media about the way Zimbabweans are to South Africans and the way South Africans are Zimbabwean. The most famous conversation I can think of in recent time is when that racist white lady, Leanne from SABC, told RUTENDO, why don't you go back home? Access. But RUTENDO has packed his bag, finished with his business here in South Africa, so he has went back home to go and fix Zimbabwe. I think RUTENDO was already fixing Zimbabwe from South Africa and back and forth like that. But I want to talk about this case that he has in court that is causing South Africans and Zimbabweans to have cancer, and that is why many Zimbabwean people, especially ladies, are crossing the border illegally to come to South Africa in seeking for cancer treatment. Let's talk about that and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane Zinjiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, I want to cover my brother RUTENDO, a controversial figure. Like I said, many people like him, many people don't like him. He's like a Julius Malema. It's either you like him or you don't like him. Personally, for me, I think he's a good African brother who has got good intentions for Africa to unite. I really like I like the type of work that he's doing, man. There is selfless work when you analyze it carefully and look at what he's doing. There's nothing that he gains personally for the work that he's doing, especially for this case that I'm going to that we're going to hear from him. Many South Africans have called for Zimbabweans to say, listen, go back home. Go back home and go and fix your problems at home, Zimbabwe. I mean, Julius Malema said it recently that Zimbabweans will support you in your fight with your President Ernest Mnangagwa. Go back home and face that man. And during the elections of Zimbabwe with Nelson Chamisa, I was one of those people that said, Zimbabwean men don't seem like they want to die for their country. And if you have met Zimbabwean people, honestly, for me, and I've met many African people, Zimbabwean people are the most kind-hearted Africans I know. And I've met Cameroonians, the Ivory Coast guys. They are so kind. The same with Angolans. Angolans are very kind. But Zimbabwe must take the cup. In fact, you can give me your top 3 most kind-hearted, welcoming, warm people in Africa. For me, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. For me, they are the top 3 for me. You guys give me your top 3 of nice. I know you're gonna say Swazi. Some of you are gonna say Botswana. Some of you might say Congo. Congo has got also some nice people there. But anyways, my heart was broken when a white woman, who's I think a second generation, if not first generation, in South Africa, told RUTENDO, why don't you go back home during a live television show? And for me, it disturbed me. I'm not in a place to listen to Europeans who called themselves Europeans up until 1993. Up until 1993, white people in South Africa never considered themselves as Africans. Never. Even now, when you click on a Home Affairs form, it says African, white, colored, Indian, or others. Why does it say African? What is African? You understand what I'm saying? Let's listen to, just to refresh your mind, the clip I'm talking about. Some of you might have forgotten that clip. It broke my heart, I'm telling you.
In fact, why don't you take up the opportunity? Why would you come and make your fortune here in South Africa when, as you've described it, you could be making a fortune in Zimbabwe? Why are you here?
Because I'm part of the problem in Zimbabwe. My attitude of thinking that I had to come and take up the opportunity that was offered to me here,
so why don't you go
instead
home?
of mining
May
land.
I ask you that? Why do you not
I
go
am going home. But
Are
right
you?
now, I've also got family in South Africa. I've got South African children, and those South African children don't just allow me to just stand up and leave, but I do have projects that I'm taking part in Zimbabwe.
And you would go and fix up the future of Zimbabwe if you're saying there's land, if you're saying there's minerals, if you're saying there is so much wealth and opportunities for you there. You're living a contradiction.
No, I'm not living a contradiction.
You certainly are by sitting here. You're living a contradiction.
Why?
Because people are suffering in Zimbabwe.
So why are people
but you're
not
languishing
Why
here.
are people not going to the Netherlands? Why are Germans not going back to Germany? Is it because their countries are bad? Is it because they're running away from problems in the UK or in the States? Why aren't Europeans going? What are you doing here?
I live here. This is
needs to go back to Zimbabwe to show that Zimbabwe is working. So why are Europeans not going back to Europe? Why are Asians not going back to Asia? Why are they staying in South Africa?
The context of the conversation is that you're saying that Zimbabwe is a beautiful country with great opportunities and people have run away from there to become waiters. The context is you are living here in South Africa when you could be going back and making that country work. That's the
context.
But
you also forgot that I was asked to come here. Somebody thought my skills were important here.
I've been asked to go to other countries, but I believe in this country.
But why don't you believe in Europe?
No, I believe in South Africa.
Why don't you believe in Europe?
I believe in my country.
Why don't you believe in Europe?
This is not about...
Yeah, you know, when as a Pan-Africanist, when I hear a fellow African brother, South African black person, tell a Zimbabwean black person to say, go back home, it hurts, but I understand why they're saying that, because of the lack of education, the lack of understanding of the other people's situation and everything. People don't understand that when you are rich and your neighbor is poor, you will not sleep, because at night your neighbor will be trying to jump your wall to find food in your kitchen. People who say, fix your own problems, or let me fix my problems and you fix your problems. It does not work like that in the real world. As long as South Africa can be as rich as Dubai, as long as our surrounding countries who border us are not as rich as South Africa, will always have a problem with migration and immigration and all those things. Anyways, so to see a white woman telling Rutendo to go back home with the attitude, with that racist tone, why don't you go back home? Since what you say Zimbabwe has got so many opportunities, why don't you go back home? It's the same question we can ask these Europeans that came here. Why don't you go back to Europe? What is it that you love so much in South Africa? Why don't you go back to Europe? You know, what makes you think that you can ask that question to a fellow African brother? Hey, that thing, I made a video some time ago. When it happened, I made a video about it. But anyway, today's video is not about that. Let's quickly listen to, let's watch Rutendo returning back home, because that's what many South Africans want. They want these people to pack their bags and go. Let's listen to it.
So as you can see, bags packed, I'm on my way back home. My business in South Africa is done. Joanna flew back to the States yesterday with wonderful meetings. And I also came here for court. And my court case was heard last week. And now we're waiting for judgment. And I think that judgment is going to come in our favor. But I'm going to have to come back again for this very same court case. And there's some of you that don't want me to keep coming back. There's some of you who don't want to see Zimbabweans who are coming into South Africa for medical treatment for cancer. So let me tell you the secret of what you have to do if you don't want me to keep coming back, and if you don't want these Zimbabweans to keep coming back into South Africa for cancer treatment. So number one, you as the people that don't want to see Kwerekweres in South Africa, people that don't want to see people like me back in South Africa, you need to join my case. RUTENDO versus INSCO, or INSCO versus RUTENDO. Because it is this case of two Zimbabweans that are fighting in the South African courts about Zimbabwean food that is keeping me coming back here. So what you need to do is you need to join the court as an interested party. And you need to question, to say, why is this case of a Zimbabwean company that is selling South African GMOs in Zimbabwe illegally, that contain cancer-causing chemicals called glyphosate, doing in the South African courts instead of being taken to the Zimbabwean courts? Because the person that is speaking against this Zimbabwean company is a Zimbabwean. You have to ask, what is this case doing in South Africa? That's point number one. And if you want to do this, you need to join with Ike Kumar, the guy who started Tutuli. And he will teach you how it is that you can become an interested party in this particular case that I think is very important for both South Africa and Zimbabwe. The most important one, Zimbabweans are coming across for cancer treatment because your companies here in South Africa are selling GMOs that contain a cancer-causing chemical called glyphosate to Zimbabwean companies that then go and sell these foods that have got these toxic chemicals illegally. They're selling them illegally in Zimbabwe. The company that I am currently fighting in this INSCO versus RUTENDO case is partners with Tiger Brands. So you as South Africans have got to start asking, Tiger Brands, why are you allowing a partner of yours to illegally sell GMOs illegally in Zimbabwe that contain cancer-causing chemicals that then push Zimbabweans to come and seek cancer treatment in South Africa? That is the secret. That is what you must do. You need to become a part and parcel of this, because Zimbabwe now has the highest cancer death rate in the world. In the world. Ever since we started eating these toxic foods. And you're not so far behind in the South Africans. And I think you too must start talking to your government about reviewing what it is that you black people are eating. It's in the mealie meal. It's in the mealie meal. It's not in the potatoes. GMOs are not potatoes. GMOs are mealie meal. And that's what you eat, Daddy. So don't forget that. That's the secret.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for a poor country like Zimbabwe, poor, I don't know in whose standard, because Zimbabwe is very rich in minerals. Zimbabwe have got millionaires. The sanctions that have just been removed now, Zimbabwe have got a new currency that is backed by the gold reserves that they've got. Anyway, I'm not here to speak about it. This East Coast versus RUTENDO case is a serious case. For a poor country like that to have the highest cancer fatality in the world tells you something. It tells you something. And if you are an African person and you are not worried that the country next door you is because of meal, because all of us love pap so much, they are suffering in cancer, the same in South Africa, and they are moving to South Africa in seek for better health care. It's a problem for us South Africans. And RUTENDO is quite correct to say we should ask, why is it this case that he opened this case against a Zimbabwean company that has South African ties like Tiger Brand. Why is it heard in the South African court? Because it's killing Zimbabwean people. You understand what I'm saying? I think we as South Africans need to understand what is happening with these GMOs foods, the genetically modified foods. We are eating these foods, and these foods are giving us disease. What is disease? My friend always said, break it down slowly, King, which means there is disease. This is in your body. Your body is not at ease. That's why you have the disease. Guys, I hope you guys understand. And so this glyphosate that is there in our food is cancer causing chemicals. How many of you guys have lost your family members because of this cancer? And it's just getting worse and worse in South Africa because the pharmaceutical industry is taking over. The doctors, they are as evil as they are. They know what is going on. Doctors will never tell you, actually, it's the food that you are eating that is causing this disease. It's the food that we eat. That's why they say your medicine is in your food. And your disease is also in the food. So for me, I was very happy to hear that RUTENDO is taking these things to court. And that is why I say to you guys, we want to open the Paseta Legal Minds. Very soon I'll be introducing, maybe by next month, I'll be introducing you guys to the team of Paseta Legal Minds, because I want us to fight these type of cases. These white companies are getting away with murder. They are unaliving us slowly but surely. Population control. But because you've got a hate for Zimbabweans, you've got a hate, you fail to see some of the good work that is done by the brother. Why are we like these Mara Africans? Huh? Why? Maratina, Ma Africa. He was driving now to Zimbabwe. Let's watch him going to his house in Zimbabwe.
Right. So guys, I'm home. And I want to tell you that I've read all the comments that I saw in the comment section, and they make me a bit unhappy. We have fun on Twitter, dissing each other, but a lot of times we become toxic. And the toxicity is about us dividing each other as Africans. I think we're losing a very big opportunity by the hatred that we have. All Africans, doesn't matter where you are, we are suffering from white supremacy that put us in a position of lack, poverty, and unhappiness. But for us to correct that, we have to unite. So here I am, I'm in Zim, but there's opportunities in Zim. And Africans in South Africa, in Nigeria, in African Americans are not taking advantage of the opportunities that we have because of these perceptions that we have that all Africans are struggling, all Zimbabweans are struggling, all Nigerians are struggling, all South Africans live in shacks. That is not correct. We have got a better Africa to build if we are united and if we are doing business together. Right now behind the camera, there is my partner. We've been together for 15 years. She's a South African, my Xhosa woman that I got. And she comes with me to Zimbabwe. She looks after our interests in South Africa because we're trying to build something. For me to have fought all these fights against sanctions, to have removed the sanctions, and now I'm fighting this food warfare where they want to enslave us with food. It takes her to support me. It takes her to be there for me when things are tough. But imagine if we were trying to be, no, South Africans are like this, Zimbabweans are like this, we wouldn't be working together. We wouldn't have had a 15-year partnership where she has taken me through serious ups and downs until we're where we are today. I'm saying to you in my message today, let's unite. I'm being serious in the aspect that I'm not playing now, but let's unite, let's work together. There are people who want to mine in Zimbabwe. You need people like me and my friends and people that we have in Zimbabwe to open those doors. We've got opportunities that are in South Africa that we can only take advantage of if we've got money and if we unite and if we're working together. So that's my message to you guys. Let's stop the hatred, let's unite, let's work together, and let's try and take advantage of opportunities. This is Zimbabwe.
Guys, you know this Gayton McKenzie you guys are talking about, what is the minister of what? The minister of sports got rich because of his mines in Zimbabwe. This story is never told. He got rich because of his mine in Zimbabwe. And I've often show you the clip where he says, my accountant is Zimbabwean. His accountant is Zimbabwean because he was working with them that side. They were cooking his books that side. That's how Gayton McKenzie became rich, working with other African countries. It's not only in Zimbabwe, in other African countries. That's why he can say, no, my salary, I don't take my salary as an MP. but then gives that salary to an NGO where he's the where he's the head, where he's the principal of the NPO. But anyway, the Africa, let's unite. I love the spirit of Rutendo. I might not agree with him in everything that he's saying, but in this case scenario, I totally agree with him. We as Africans must unite. And some of the Zimbabwean people, because I work with them also, they have to come together. Especially I'm speaking to Zimbabwean men. They have to come together and say, enough is enough. Our people are suffering in Zimbabwe and discriminated in South Africa. It's time we go stand against this corrupt Zimbabwean government. It's going to take people who are willing to be unalived for the coming generation in Zimbabwe, unfortunately. And if they are clever, they can galvanize some support from EFF or whatever, from other African countries to say, come and fight with us. We are tired. Our elections are not fair. There's nothing that is fair. You try and go and vote. You are voting. Your vote is a waste of time. Mugabe was a president forever. Mnangagwa was to be a president forever. We must do something to fight. So you guys tell me on the comment section, what do you think about this case of Rutendo? I mean, some of you are constantly sick and you don't know it's in the bread, it's in the pap, it's in the fizzy drinks that we drink, it's in the Coca-Cola. All of these things that we are eating, it's making us sick, guys. It's making us sick. That's why you are seeing now there's a phenomenon of men boobs. Men have got hanging chests. You ask yourself, what is wrong with their testosterone level? Estrogen, the female gene is now growing in our men because of the food, guys. We are eating ourselves to death with this GMO food that we are eating. It's heartbreaking, guys. It's heartbreaking. Really. Let's see if I can get Ike and then see how I can get involved in this case, because really it's something that we as Africans must show seriousness in it. How do I get hold of Ike? Ike don't like his mentality with apartheid, because he once said apartheid is better than the democracy we have. Once he said that, I deleted him from my list. I was like, call me Dodi when Ike. Once he said that with Penuel, I was like, I mean, and Kalile food. Apartheid was better than what we are having now. But anyway, thank you so much for everyone that has supported Paseta. Paseta is the dream that we have for opening an independent Africanized educational syllabus institution for the African children that are coming. Let us be proud Africans to say that we have built our own institutions. We have been watching the government fail us. We have been watching the African people build their own institutions, and we are sitting and complaining on social media. It is time for us to build our own institutions. Paseta legal minds, Paseta military training, Paseta schools. We need to make sure that we've got Paseta tourism, Paseta media companies. We must make sure that this brand of Paseta grows and grows, ladies and gentlemen. We have Paseta Namibia, we have Paseta Angola on the pipeline, Paseta Uganda and Paseta Zimbabwe is coming. Please make sure that you support this dream by just contributing a mere 50 Rand from your hard earnings. Otherwise, we must unite. We don't have to give much, but the 50 Rand, the little that we have, let us sow the seed in Paseta and let us see this school become a reality, guys. Every month, I give you guys a financial report. I said by Friday, I'm going to give you a head count of how many people have contributed to Paseta since the 21st of July, because that's when Paseta was born for you guys. 21st of July, I told you guys the account is here. Start donating from the 21st of July up until today. I'm going to give you guys the head count of how many people have donated to Paseta. We've got WhatsApp groups. We've got the community hub group. We've got the Paseta advisory panel, we've got the Paseta strategic panel, we've got the marketing team, we've got the IT team. If you want to join any of those teams, send a WhatsApp here. And also please visit our website on www.paseta.co.za. Again, the website is www.paseta.co.za, so that you can get more information about Paseta. Thank you so much, guys, for everyone who has taken their heart and money and contributed it to the school. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. After you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.